Hello there YouTube, this is Dollface here. If you're here for the latest anime reviews and books to hit the shelves, you're in the wrong place. My channel is dedicated towards books and anime that came out years ago, but you just somehow missed the bandwagon on, or you just don't have anyone to talk about them with now. So today you're going to be hearing about Majin Bone Episodes 11 through 20. I have to honestly say, I didn't give the episodes or the anime that much of a chance the first go around, but I can say that I am invested in the storyline and in the characters. I was really proven wrong. I like where the story is going. I think it's very captivating. I think the characters are very dynamic and they all of them interact with each other very well. So I'm actually going to be doing a quick synopsis of like each episode, not too long, maybe 1 to 2 minutes each, and then just have a good takeaway at the end. So first up is episode 11. So as I mentioned in my last video, we have our 5 main characters, the Majins, who are responsible for protecting Earth. They are white bones, and then they fight the Nepos Angeles, or the Nepasians, the dark bones. And so we meet a whole bunch of dark bones in this series of episodes. Dark Panther, Dark Grizz, Dark Tiger, Wolf, Alligator, Eagle. These are part of the Dark Majins, or the dark bones. We also learn about the Primordial Majin, and that's actually the name of this episode. The Primordial Majin is actually the creator of the universe, and so it turns out the history behind that is the Primordial Majin created everyone in the same equal light, and then it was not just humans, but it was all kinds of mythical creatures, dragons, krakens, all kinds of mythical monsters and such. And so humans who wanted, complete absolute domain over, their planet, they killed all the dragons and they killed the krakens and the unicorns and all the mythical beings just so that they can have complete domination over their environment. And so that kind of split the earth in two between the Nepasians and the Earthlings. So now that's how we understand how the dark horses called Earthlings traitors, because they are traitors to the Primordial Majin who created the universe. Didn't know that? Now we do. And so in this episode, Dark Horse, who is one of the strongest fighters in the military, he decided to take it upon himself to go get the Dragon Bone himself. And so he corners Shugo and traps him inside of a cocoon. And the cocoon is like an artificial world or dimension that white horses take advantage of so they can fight on a near enough level as the Dark Horses. When they're not within it, they don't actually function as well, and they're very slow, and it creates a very bad disadvantage of them in battle. So, and they also have a time limit to how long they can be in the cocoon as well. So Dark Horse is like, got Shogo or Dragon Bone cornered, and he's like, you're mine now. And so he kind of goes berserk, and the Primordial Majin, he doesn't feel good about this. He's like, you're disobeying, the natural order of things. You were supposed to be like one with your bone, but now you're even your bone has feelings and emotions. It's not just a suit of armor that you put on. It's actually like, a wolf spirit or a panther spirit or any kind of animal spirit that you put on. That's what I said in the last video, that when you take on great damage, it's called a bone crush, and it gets fossilized. So the Primordial Majin wanted to punish him and basically took advantage of that artificial cocoon and crushed him to death. And that was like upsetting. So that's what happened in episode 11. Now, unfortunately, because of the Primordial Majin's strength, he actually destroys the amulet and destroys the cocoon entirely. So now none of the white bones are able to do battle. And the Dark Panther takes advantage of this, and she goes and confronts Shogo again one-on-one. Here, the animation gets a whole lot better. It gets really smooth and kind of like, it's really different and kind of like just glossy. I really like that. Shogo shows, again, more character development. I was excited to see this when he's like, I need more power, I need to protect people, I need to do the right thing. And his bone is like, well, okay, I'll give it to you, but just know that it's gonna come at a price. And so Shogo goes into berserker mode, and then he quickly makes light work of Dark Panther. But because of that extreme amount of power, because he channeled his power through anger, it left all this widespread destruction, and it also landed him in the hospital as well. So things didn't really bode well well for Shogo in episode 12. The result of Shogo having to put his life on the line had a really horrible effect on Luke, because not only is he supposed to protect Shogo and the Dragon Bone, he's also supposed to protect the people. They're the protectors of Earth. So he sees people in the hospital, he sees all the destruction that the Earth has taken, and he takes it so hard upon himself that he's just not himself. He's angry at everyone, he's bitter, he's nasty, he's unfocused, and just like, it's cool seeing Luke losing his edge and losing his nerve. So I really liked seeing that other side of him. So for episode 13, True Strength, we see a change of roles between Luke and the other members of the team. Luke, who's supposed to be like, the calm and collected one, always in the know, always communicating with the head office, is acting really childish. He's, having temper tantrums, and he's, not really communicating with his team members, and they're wondering what's going on with you. So he's upset because he's supposed to be the leader, and he's supposed to be the one, protecting everyone. And he's also the one who's been an adept the longest. He's been adept since he's about maybe 7 or 8 years old, and his father's also the head of the Los Angeles research facility. So he has a more personal connection to the entire Majin Bone project. It's like very near and dear to him because that's all he knew growing up doing. He's taking it very hard, and this is not a good time for him because this is when Dark Panther takes advantage of the White Bones not being able to use their cocoon and goes to attack all of them. Now mind you, Shogo is still in the hospital from the last episode, so he is in no condition to fight. So this means that the other team members had to divert Dark Panther away from the hospital, not only to protect Shogo and the Dragon Bone, but also the other people in the hospital as well. This is not good because they're very weak from their last battle, and Shogo, through the power of parenting, his dad wakes him up and like gives him the courage to like go help his friends. Shogo comes and like, I'm here, I'm ready to fight. And so like the Dragon Bone's like, you cannot fight her as you are. You need to equip that same rage and anger that you had before to beat her. And Shogo's like, that power was very strong, I'll admit, but I don't like the way it made me feel, and I don't like the way that, I unleashed so much havoc upon the planet and the people. There has to be another way that I can summon that same strength without having to get into that rage and to go into the berserker mode. He asked Dragon Bone to trust him, and so he uses that strength of wanting to never give up to basically defeat Dark Panther, and that was how that episode ended. I thought that was really cool, and it's so like a different way of how we can access our Majin's true strength, and that we can also communicate with our Majin. So in episode 14, Shark's Rampage, Luke completely loses his cool. He's completely off of his mojo. He gets this idea in his head that if he goes into berserker mode, even though it's dangerous and unsafe and that it could possibly kill him, at least he'll end up protecting everyone around him. And so he has this notion that no matter what it takes, even if I die for the sake of my team, they'll understand. Which of course is crazy because his team would never allow him to do that. And this is could possibly come at a worst possible time because now they've met 2 new bones, Dark Bear and Dark Grizz. They're kind of silly and they're a bunch of lugheads, they're not really intelligent, but they're really strong and they pack a punch. And this was not good for Luke. He was not strong enough, even with the power of the berserker mode, to defeat them. So that's where it kind of ended on episode 14. So now we've decided to take a little break from fighting for a while since no one's in any condition to do any fighting. And Luke actually seeks comfort and console from Shogo's father, who tells him that, I'm really glad that, someone like you is in my son's life. He really depends upon you, and I hope that you can depend on him too. Even though you seem so put together and seem so mature, don't forget that he's also your friend, and you can also rely on him as well. So Luke actually has this epiphany that realizes I can still be dedicated to the mission. I can still be an ace, but I don't have to do it alone. I can still rely on members of my team. This is actually great timing because it's at this time we meet Dark Crocodile and Dark Eagle, who attack all the Majins at the same time. But then now Luke, with his newfound hope, he's able to summon the Majin of Water. We also understand in this episode that the Majins that they summon are neutral. So at first, the bad guys were able to summon the water Majin, but now they can too. So these Majins are just like, hey, if you can summon us, we're there for you. We'll fight for you. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so they take care of Crocodile and Eagle, and that's the end of that episode. It ends on a really good note. Luke is able to finally come to peace with, his shortcomings and what he's able to gain from this experience. Okay, now episode 16, Will of Steel, is actually my favorite episode, and surprisingly, it's I like it better than the Luke episodes. It's centered around Gilbert, who has fallen into a bit of a depression because he has not been able to make a Majin descend. And even though Antonio and Tyrone haven't been able to do the same thing either, he is very prideful on being number one and having things come easily towards him. So he's wondering, why haven't I been able to make a Majin descend? Why can't I be just as competent, if not better, than my teammates? And he takes a good lesson from Shogo's childhood friend Saho, who tells him, you know what, if it's something that I really want, I just have to keep going for it. I know it's not going to be easy, it's going to be hard, but as long as I don't stop fighting for it, then I'll get it eventually. And so he, takes that advice to heart. And so when it's time for them to fight again, this is super cool. Not only does he descend a Majin, but he kind of turns into like, I don't know, War Greymon or something. He talks to his Majin and he's like, you know what? I think you're ready for the awakening. And it's just like, the awakening, what's that? Leo Bone turns into Iron Bone, and so it's like a major upgrade, and he's like faster and he's stronger, and he's actually on the same level as the Dark Bones that can actually compete to the point where he can beat them single-handedly. So this is like a major come up for Leo Bone and Gilbert. I thought it was super cool the way that he was, adamant and not giving up. And it wasn't just the fact that he got stronger, it was because he had to face his own self. And he's like, why aren't I getting stronger? And then he realized, it's because I'm a coward. I am afraid. I am not as strong as my cohorts. But that's okay, because I'm not going to give up. And I acknowledge that I am afraid, and I acknowledge that I'm not great, but that doesn't mean that it's always going to be like that. And I'm just like, yeah, good for you. That's major character development. Episodes 17 and 18 weren't necessarily my favorite. They were Tyrone and Antonio backstory episodes, so we just kind of learned more about them. To sum it up, Tyrone summoned the Majin of Earth and Antonio summoned the Majin of Wood, and so they were able to get that next level power up. That was basically it. Like I said, nothing really much happened. For episode 18, at the end of it, Dark Wyvern decided to make an appearance because he had kept hearing from Dark Panther, these Earthlings, don't underestimate them, they're stronger than they look. If you go in there thinking that you can just beat them, no problem, then you're gonna get, really hurt. And so, Dark Wyvern, or Claude, or Clued, that's his name, he decided, they ain't got nothing on me, I can beat them. And so he makes an appearance in episode 18. Episode 19 was the best. I know I said that I liked episode 14 for Gilbert. I liked that for his character development, but as far as like overall in the action, I liked episode 19 the best. Shogo's just like, all right, let's go. And his Bone is just basically like, you cannot defeat him the way that you are now. And Shogo's just like, but I can't just stay here and just watch. I have to fight. And Dragon Bone, the almighty element that everyone is trying to fight for, that everyone's looking for, is like, don't do it, bro. You can't fight him. You can't win. And then Shogo's just like, no, I'm not going to sit by and just let my friends get hurt. And he got so effed up. Like, it's like, in order to get like an ordinary bone crush, you need to like, keep hitting someone in the same spot. This dude like patted him in the chest, and it's just like, ugh, immediate bone crush. And it's like, he just, just destroyed both of his legs. And then he attacked Shark and Jaguar, and they were just immediately full body bone crush so bad, my hair's in the way, so bad that they had like kicked them out of the cocoon. Tyrone and Gilbert couldn't fight them at the moment because Gilbert was like too banged up from going into iron mode, and so they had to just basically stay there and wait for them. And so it was just Shogo by himself, and so I was just like, oh my gosh, this is intense. I mean, he's just making light work of these people, so he's just kind of like standing there, what are they gonna do, what's gonna happen? This is me getting really into the story now. So now we have 4 out of our 5 Earth Protectors outside of the cocoon, terrified of what's happening to their friend and to the Dragon Bone. And so Gilbert, who's just like, I need to be in there, I need to be helping my friend, this isn't right, I don't like standing by and not helping. And when your bone is crushed, it actually has like, you know, it's kind of faded and chipped away. It's, you know, saying that, you know, your bone is healing and it will not function properly. You cannot go fight. And so for some reason, I guess, again, because he's got a will of steel, Gilbert's will reaches the Leo bone, and he's like, I've heard your demand, I've heard your pleas and your request, I will grant you the power, not only to fix the card, but to get you back in battle and to go back into iron steel mode. So I'm like, this is amazing. And so Leo jumps into the cocoon and fights Dark Wyvern, Dark Alligator, Dark Eagle, all 3 of them, and saves like Shogo. It is awesome, and because like he actually lands a move on Dark Wyvern, who was practically untouchable at first. And so it's a good thing that he did at the time, because the cocoon was coming down and it's about to crush them, but they actually got out on time. And so Shogo was saved, Gilbert was the hero, everyone else is okay. But it was such an amazing event, and I just like, I want to know what your favorite episode is in that block, episodes 11 through 20. If you're following me along with this anime, what is your favorite episode along with episodes 11 through 20? Tell me in the comments below. And lastly, episode 20, our white bones are so banged up. They are so ready to be, you know, throwing the towel. They need some rest, some R&R, and they're ready to head back to Australia, into Melbourne, to get all of their bones fixed. And so Dark Tiger and Dark Wolf follow them to the Melbourne facility, because Dark Alligator is just like, how about you and us work together and we'll all, you know, claim the prize together. And so they're like, I don't really trust you, but whatever, we just need to get the Dragon Bone back. And so Tiger and Wolf break down the barriers so that Alligator could get in and attack the bones while they're recuperating. It doesn't end well, because Shogo is again not, his legs are like no good. They're broken. And so Gilbert, my man Gilbert, comes in and he just like, you know, takes care of everything. And it was crazy, because his card was locked inside of a vault because they got attacked the first time, and they said, well, we don't want that happening again, so now we have your cards locked in a vault in case the facility is under attack. Through his will again, he manages to get his bone out of the sphere, but he's able to speed up the process of his healing so that he can go and help, and he beats everyone again. And I'm just like, my man Gilbert, this is amazing. So, you know, they send Alligator away. They don't kill him, because when you like give someone a complete bone crush, their entire card becomes ashen, and they're no longer in sync as Adept and Bone. They are just 2 separate people. So you have to have a complete bone crush in order to just basically lose that connection. And so even though he got like a temporary one, it was enough for him to transport back home. So I'm actually looking forward to episode 21 to see if he got punished, or to see like, you know, what his fate was, because he was in pretty bad shape. But I'm so proud of them. I'm so happy that we managed to, like, no matter what happens, we always make sure that we get our bones back. And I'm looking forward to watching episodes 21 through 30. So thanks for sticking around and hearing me rant about this anime that I'm actually getting really into. If you would like to see more anime content or follow me with my book reading, you can like this video and subscribe to my content. You can also ring the bell for notifications for upcoming videos. If you want to follow me in my other outlets, you can follow me at goodreads.com, username dollface. You can also follow me at Instagram, doll_face, and I'm on my anime list as dollface. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. See you next time.